From fine dining to fast food, the most popular protein is beef. Beef is a primary ingredient for America's most commonly ordered dishes. Not only do Americans eat a lot of beef, but the U.S. is also the largest beef producer in the world. How does the U.S. produce so much beef? The answer is in what American cattle eat. With high nutrient diets, producers are using heavy feeding programs to increase the growth rates of the cows and when they enter puberty. How does food control puberty? After extended research, it has been shown that high nutrient diets affect the onset of puberty. When individuals become obese in the early stages of development, it can lead to an earlier onset of puberty as compared to individuals with average food intake. A similar result was found in cows. Researchers have observed that increased body weight in young heifers or female cows led to an earlier onset of puberty. The research provides insight as to how nutrition could influence either the growth or the reproductive development as mammals reach maturation. If mammals such as beef cows have excess nutrients, then the onset of the reproductive development could be a means of using the available energy. How did the researchers observe such effects? Well, they used young heifers, or these young female cows, as the study organism. Directly after weaning the calves, two study groups were created, high gain and low gain. The purpose of the two groups was to create one group of heifers who could gain around half a kilogram a day, and the other, the high gain group, to gain around 1 kilogram a day. To reach the rate of gain, crude protein was increased in the high gain diet. The two groups were to provide information on the effects of body weight on the hormonal levels and subsequently the onset of puberty. After about 5 months, the heifers were humanely killed and a region of the brain called the hypothalamus was dissected for observations. How does high nutrient food affect the brain's control of the timing of puberty? Can this provide insight to the effects in other mammals? How do we ensure beef producers are maintaining a healthy rate of puberty onset while also allowing the cows to grow at a fast enough rate? The answer is through more research. Observing the GnRH and NPY neurons have demonstrated a potential pathway that explains how nutrition affects sexual maturation. To understand what these researchers found, we need to understand the neurons that they observed in their study. The two neurons that they observed were GnRH neurons and NPY neurons. GnRH neurons are the master controller of the reproductive system by signaling for entering puberty or sexual maturation. The second type of neurons observed were NPY neurons. NPY neurons are part of the brain's pathway that recognizes how much nutrition the body contains. NPY neurons are active when there is excess energy stored or available. What the researchers found were that NPY neurons were found much closer to the GnRH neurons in the high-gain feeding groups. This means that there were large effects in the relationship between the neurons concerned with the energy stored and the neurons concerned with reproduction. This supported their hypothesis that body weight affects the NPY and GnRH circuitry based on the evidence of their fewer synaptic connections between the neurons. A diagram of this pathway is seen here. This study provides a potential pathway that suggests that early onsets of puberty could be influenced by nutrition through regulation of GnRH release. The way this could occur would be due to the changes in the projections of the upstream neurons of GnRH. Nutrient levels manipulated the projections to increase the secretion of GnRH. The GnRH itself was what this study believed to be the effect of high nutrient levels. With the larger projections and larger distance between the neurons, GnRH was able to be secreted and promote reproduction. This knowledge of the relationship between nutrition and reproductive development can also help us better understand the cases where humans experience an earlier onset of puberty. With this information, we can help prevent the risks of other diseases that are known to be caused by early puberty, such as breast cancer and central nervous system disorders. With this new knowledge, I encourage you to talk with your local grocery store and make sure you're purchasing beef that is raised ethically. The effects may not be known yet, but simply acknowledging the problems that could arise will prove to the producers that they must maintain their standards ethically. The important takeaways from this video would be to be mindful of what you're eating, be mindful of how we're raising that food, and to always ask questions. Thank you very much for listening.